Hey ladies, welcome back to the Pretty Fearless podcast with me, your host, Morgan Tracy J. Coming today with a new Pretty Fearless episode because girl, I am trying to help you step into it, all right? And I'm super excited about this episode because I was like, what better way to end out season 1 of Pretty Fearless than to help you and empower you to really step into the woman that God is calling you to be? Because that's my general theme, that's my message, that's who I am. I am such a woman of faith and such a woman that wants to push you into the woman that God is calling you to be and just help you bring her to life. And so I want to share this word with you today called step into it because I'm just so inspired by when God drops little things in my spirit about becoming the woman he's called me to be, or really just being fearless in my faith, being fearless in everything he's given me. I want to share that with you. All right. So if you're new here, girl, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. You check us out over on Apple and Spotify. And also, if you leave us a review, you can automatically be in the running for some Fearless merch. And I really hope you win that merch, girl. Okay. So anyways, if you're new here, go ahead and do all those things. And if you've been here for a while, make sure you always check out the show notes because there's a lot of freebies, a lot of goodies down there. All right, let's get into this video. Okay, let me tell you. This was a couple months ago. I was sitting in Sunday service. I was sitting at church, my local church. I'm sitting beside my husband and the pastor is speaking. And actually, he's speaking on something that I was trying to write notes on, but it's almost like the Holy Spirit took me somewhere else a little bit. And it really wasn't his message or anything, but it was some scripture that I was going through, and it talked to me about stepping into it. And so I want to share that with you. Like, if you don't go to church, girl, you want to go to church. But also, just because you think you may get fed on so many different levels based off the Holy Spirit. And so the pastor wasn't even preaching on this or speaking on this. And it just happened to be one of those cross-reference scriptures that led me down this path, that got me this word in service, though. And I want to encourage you today, ladies, it is time to step into it, okay? Stepping into it, all right? And even me shooting this podcast, Pretty Fearless Pod, this was something I was so afraid to step into. I felt like I had that feeling of like, who do I think I am to start a podcast? I already do YouTube. Like, I can't add another thing to my schedule, my time, my structure, everything. I felt like a podcast would throw it off. But the truth of the matter is, it wouldn't. It actually was going to benefit it. And I was in my own way. And so I want to help you today step into the things God has been calling you to do. Step into that purpose, that dream, that motherhood, that wifehood, whatever that is for you, stepping into it and getting out of your fear. If you always have been stuck in the pattern of, I go to work, I do this, I don't have friends, I don't have a life, I don't have a soul. If that is where you're at, girl, you have a lot of fear in the way. And it is time to finally press past that and step into the places and the people and the situations that you actually want to be a part of. It is time to step into it. So once I got this word step into it, I want to tell you there's a few things that I've learned in these last few months about stepping into it. Okay. And that sounds really hype and you can get really built up. Oh, I'm going to step into these dreams. I'm going to step into this. But can you step into it when you have a negative bank account? Can you step into it when you're exhausted? Can you step into it when you're having issues in relationships? Can you step into it? Can you step into love? Can you step into peace? Can you step into your prayer? Can you step into your health journey even when you don't feel qualified to, or when you've let yourself down many different times? Can you step into it? Because this last few months, what God was showing me is that it's not only step into it now when everything looks peachy and you're all built up and you're inspired and you're empowered and you're ready to go, but can you step into it when life is throwing you curveballs? Can you truly step into that vision when everyone around you says they don't get it? Can you truly step into that calling when everyone around you still knows you were that party girl, okay? Still knows you was that drunk girl, okay? Can you step into that new version of yourself, that new dream, that new purpose, that new calling in yourself? Can you step into that new mantle even when everything around you still looks like the old mantle, looks like the old thing, okay? And so what God had to start showing me is, Morgan, I need you to step into the things you usually put off. Do you usually put off doing that one, task for the ministry? That's the one you need to step into. And I need you to step into the things you don't feel ready or qualified for. Oh, you don't really feel quite ready or qualified to launch that podcast? That's what I need you to do. You don't feel quite ready and qualified to start that product? That's what I need you to do. You don't feel quite ready and qualified to really start hosting those Bible studies? That's what I need you to do. You don't really feel quite ready and qualified financially to do that event? That's what I need you to do. He also started teaching me about step into the things that you're scared of. Make sure that if you feel fear around it, that's what you need to step into. The fear is not there to hold you back. You got to use it as the marker that, hey, I'm stepping into new territory. So he's like, daughter, if you're scared to start that product, you're scared to launch that event, you're scared to do that thing, you're scared to pivot, you're scared of all that, that is what you need to do. That is what you need to do to step into the new territory I have for you. So you got to step into the things that you're scared of, sis. And he also said the things you don't feel quite qualified for right now is once you step into them, you will begin to feel qualified for it. And I have to share with you on this. Even when I launched the podcast, I wasn't I didn't feel good about it. I didn't feel qualified. And it wasn't until the third episode, I was sitting here shooting it, and I have this screen on the back end so I could see myself. But I was sitting here shooting that third episode when I realized I was ready for this. When I realized I could really do this. When I realized that this is for me right now. Right? I got to share that with you. And also I got to talk to you about this whole setup I have right here. I have been using this setup for a few years now, so for my YouTube channel. And I remember there's this TV screen I have on the background. And that was like a bigger monitor. And I would use it sometimes, but I would notice like for about a whole 6 months, I never even touched that because I was like, I don't really need it. I'm just shooting little vlogs and messages. I don't need to see myself on a big screen. I don't need to see my layout. I don't need to see any of that, right? And I was always vlogging on my YouTube channel. And now it hit me that, Morgan, when you built this whole little setup here, it was never for just your YouTube. It wasn't just for the vlogs. This was for your podcast. This was all for your podcast. You just didn't know it, but you were more ready than you realized. You had everything in place for the podcast, but you were still saying you were not qualified. And I got to tell somebody that. You have everything in place. God has put everything in place for your vision, but you still don't see it that way. You still think you're not qualified. And I will tell you, it wasn't until the third episode, I was sitting here shooting, looking at the camera, ready to go, when I realized you were more than ready for this. You were more than ready for this. You were more qualified for this than you realized. And I think we got to tie this into even motherhood, wifehood, this season of your life, a new job, a new career. You are more than ready for that transition, sis. It is you who is talking yourself out of it. It is you who's saying you're not. It is you who is limiting yourself, but you are more than ready for that. You are more than a conqueror. And with the step into it mindset, I learned that everything I was always saying, oh no, I don't have the time. Oh no, I don't have the resources. No, I don't have the team. No, I don't have the money. No, I don't have the plans. No. Every time I was saying no, I would hear, step into it. Step into it. Oh, really? I don't have the resource right now. Step into it. Oh, really? I don't think we should do that right now because it's just not really the best time. Step into it. Man, I really don't think we should start scheduling those things yet. Step into it. I kept hearing it every time I said no and gave every excuse in the book on why I shouldn't do something. All I would hear in the Lord is step into it. Step into it, sis. And I know you're scared, and I know you feel unqualified, and I know you feel overlooked, and I know you feel behind in life, and I know you feel like this is how it's been going, so you're really comfortable, and money is like this, and things are like this, and this is what you do every day, and this is how you get up, and this, but your life would benefit so much more if you just stepped into the things you wanted to do, if you just stepped into some of those ideas, if you just stepped into that new job, if you just stepped into that new season, that new career. And I will say this, a lot of things don't change until you take action. And God has had to show me that over and over. I have prayed for change. I have fasted for change. I have sat and prayed for so many things. And it wasn't until I took action on either an idea God gave me, took action on something I've been sitting on for a while, took action on my ideas. Nothing changed until I took action. Even with the podcast, even with my YouTube channel back in 2016, nothing changed until I stood on business. Okay. So stepping into it is standing on businesses. That's all it is. It's you standing on the word, standing on your word, standing on your dream, standing on that calling, standing on that gift, and not moving. Standing on business. It's time to stand on business. And so you may be saying, Morgan, I don't know how to step into it. I do not have a clue on how to really just step. I'm so scared to step. I don't even know what the first step is. I'm so stuck at that. And I want to tell you this. It happened a lot in the Bible, okay? In Mark chapter 5, we see where Jesus is on this way, and we see these 3 different instances where people stepped into a miracle, okay? And I shared this in our Bible study recently. If you have not been a part of our Bible studies, make sure you sign up so you can be a part of our online community and our online Bible studies. Link is in the show notes, link is in the description box. But I want to tell you, this was in a Bible study I shared recently on Mark chapter 5. And we see where the demon-possessed man comes to Jesus, and he runs after him, and he falls to his feet, and he starts worshiping God. We also see Jairus, the dad of the little girl that is dead, that Jesus raises from the dead. He does the same thing. He runs up to Jesus crying, and he falls to his feet. We see with the woman with the issue of blood, she starts pressing through the crowd, and she touches Jesus. Each of these stepped into a miracle. They did in action, but also they all landed at Jesus's feet. Key here. Okay, sis. So if you're like, Morgan, I have no clue on how to step into it. I don't even know where to get started. At least start at Jesus' feet. If you start there, you cannot go wrong, okay? If you start at his feet in humbleness and giving yourself over, resurrendering your life, then guess what? By the time you get back up, you're already at step one. By the time you get back to your feet, you're already on a solid foundation. By the time you get back to your feet, you're already back in the cornerstone of Christ, and you already are back in that love and that warmth and that house in that house with him. That's how I see it in my mind, a house all the time. But you're already back there. And so I just want to encourage you. This is a time for you to go back to step into that place at his feet. Just step into the place at his feet. If you don't know where to get started, you're like, man, we're going to have this idea, but there's 1,000 ideas. I don't even know where to step yet. Step at his feet. Start there. Get back to his feet. Step into that. Once you step into that, pray, Lord, give me clarity and direction. Confirm which one I should start now. Maybe I can't start all 3. I can't start all 10. I got to start only one. Which one is the simplest and which one is the easiest that I can get started right now? Show me that, Lord. Confirm that to me, Lord. As you do that, next thing, keep going. One foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. Maybe I need to shoot a video. Maybe I need to start outlining some stuff. Maybe I need a plan. Maybe I need to buy a journal specifically for my ideas as I outline these blogs, as I outline this book, as I outline these ideas. I don't know, right? Like, there are steps you can take, but the issue is we don't take the steps. We ask God for a blessing and we're not willing to step into the blessing. We ask God for an opportunity, but we're not willing to apply for the jobs. We ask God for a financial increase, but we're not willing to apply ourselves to receive the financial increase. And I have to tell you this, something happened to me recently. There was a lot of times brands would hit me up about stuff, and some of the brands are just not my type of brands. They're not quite on my brand, not aligning to my ethics. Okay, let me just say that. And so there's a lot of brands I say no to. There's a lot of stuff I don't even entertain. I don't even respond to or anything. I'm just like, nope. But I started to notice because I was getting a lot of these brands where I wasn't going to, partake with them. Some of the brands that I would work with, I still had that same energy towards, where I would be like, if I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. It was almost like I didn't care. But it's like, but God, you're asking God for a financial increase, Morgan. And he's sending you certain opportunities that align, but you're not willing to step into them because then you're like, oh, is that going to make me too brandy? Well, when am I going to have to shoot that? Will I have the time? Does that fit in my schedule? When am I going to edit it? You start going on step 12 when you really need to just be at step 1, okay? And so I remember here recently, because I'm in this step into it mindset, okay? I got an opportunity and I was like, yeah, that works with me. It works with this health, my health journey, everything. So I'm going to go ahead and go for it. And I did, and I got the brand deal, y'all. It was a good one. And I was so shocked that it was like the most I've ever going to be paid for a brand deal. And I was like, what? And I was stunned because I realized it was there all along. I just had to step into it. I had to be willing to say yes. I had to be willing to say, I'll put in the work for that. I had to be willing to just agree. And there are some things in our lives that we are praying to God for. And when he showcases an opportunity, we're like, nah, nope, not willing to do it. And it's like, but you're praying for increase. It may not come the way you exactly want it to come, but it'll come. Amen. You just got to be willing to step into it. And so that is something that God had to show me, that these opportunities have been around me, and I pick and choose what I want to do and when I want to do it based off when I feel like it. But you're also in the process of always praying for God, do this. And when I send it, it's only based off if you feel like it. Sis, we got to get past our feelings and we got to step into the things that God is presenting to us. And so my goal with this video is to help you and to challenge you to truly step into it. So do you want to step into the woman God is calling you to be? Do you want to step into some dreams, some goals, a career, a new financial level? What do you want to step into? And I have to ask you that. Before this year is up, I want you to write 1 to 2 things that you want to step into, that you want to get done, that you want to accomplish. Write down 1 to 2 things and then start with the steps. Start at Jesus' feet. Step into your prayer. Step into that. Step into asking him to confirm how to get started. What should you start? Do your research. Don't be afraid to do the homework. Type it into ChatGPT. How do I get started on my YouTube channel? Like literally, just type it somewhere and just see the steps. What are the steps? What are the simple steps that I can do to get started? Once you do that, sis, go forward. Go forward in faith. Don't be afraid to step into it. Don't overthink this process and trust the Lord, though. Trust the Lord, okay? All right? And I will say, being a ministry founder, being a YouTuber, now a podcaster, being a teacher, doing all these different things, I've learned that you got to make decisions. And I'm somebody who do not want to make decisions sometimes because I'm afraid to make the wrong one. But as a leader, you have to make decisions. I have to say, oh, well, we're going to do it on the 12th. I don't know why the 12th, but we're going to do it on the 12th. Like, we just got to do it. We got to get it done by the 12th. I just have to make decisions sometimes that I'm like, and I'm forced to make them. And I want to encourage you, be forced to make some decisions in your life. Don't sit there on the edge like, oh, am I going to do this or do that? No, jump, make a decision. I am or I'm not. Don't sit there thinking, man, am I going to start that or not? No, I am. And this is the date I'm going to start it by, right? You have to make decisions. No one is going to make it for you. God can give you every idea in the book. He can give you all the confirmation, all the chills, all the signs, but it's up to you to take action. All right. So sis, today I just want to challenge you to step into it. And I feel like that is the wrap on our season 1 of Pretty Fearless, that you step into the fearlessness, you step into everything God is calling you to be. All right, ladies. And I'll see you back for season 2. All right. See you in 2026.